Hello and welcome to what is now my first video on my new channel, Kostaku, a channel supposedly be the merging, bonding, kind of, I don't know what, of supposedly weeb shit and roller coasters. But I feel like it's mostly just going to be the roller coasters and my dumb face in front of it. This video would be mostly going over my top 15 roller coasters as of now in early 2023. There's going to be a lot of controversial opinions in there. I'm going to try to explain myself the best I can. No promises there. Yeah, let's go over them. First up is Hurler at Carowinds. This is quite an underrated and underappreciated roller coaster. I rode it for the first time and really only time back in 2017, right around my 16th birthday. I rode on a relatively dead day, but it did get a little bit more busier. It never had a line, like ever. And when it rained, it was perfect for like just ducking down in the second row behind the front seats. I would have to say it is similar to Intimidator 305, if very weak. Like the forces just aren't there, but I'd say it's not bad. Like I find it to be pretty fun, and because of how underrated it is, I'm putting it at number 15. Next up is Nitro at Six Flags Great Adventure, one of the best B&M hypers ever built. It's aged just so well. The seats, it's classic B&M, like it's just super comfortable. That helix, going into the mid-course brake run is absolutely insane. I struggle to keep my hands up, which is great. And it never seems to have a line, like really ever. I even went on a pretty busy day and I never had more than a stair wait. Like it really wasn't that bad. It was just so much fun. Next up, this is going to be controversial again. Gemini at Cedar Point. I like it. I like it a lot, but you have to ride in the correct seat. If you ride in the back car on the blue side, middle row of the six car, but you have to stay on the left side. So don't go all the way through. Just go one in, because that gives you perfect room to put your arm out. And with the blue side, the red train you'll go off the drop first, and then the red train will come up and slowly go past you on that first turnout, allowing you just to keep that arm out and slap high fives. I love racing roller coasters. Racing roller coasters is like my biggest like thing I love on roller coasters. Well, one of the biggest things I love on roller coasters. I'm just a very competitive person. I'm a competitive short track speed skater. I live for competition, so I love that. Also, it has a great fast lane line, and you're going to see that again because Cedar Point has the worst fast lane system I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm a all season fast lane user. I love fast lane, and Cedar Point aggravates me with their fast lane system. But luckily on Gemini and one other coaster you're going to see later, is the fast lane system actually useful? Next up, Mystic Timbers. I'm going to get crucified for this. I think the layout is great. I think the setting is great. The ride is really fun. But the ending. Now, it's not because I'm disappointed by the ending, it's because I'm scared of the ending. I do not like jump scares at all. I'm a very scared person. I could do roller coasters, put me on the tallest roller coaster on earth, and I'll be fine, but I can't do horror and I can't do jump scares, and that is why Mystic Timbers is so much lower down. Is because it just kills the ride for me. All right, talking about racing again, Lightning Racer at Hershey Park. I absolutely love this ride. I marathoned it back when I first rode it because it never has a line. It has great capacity, like just amazing capacity. It's also a lot of fun. It wasn't my first GCI, but it was one of the first, and it was just so much fun. It's extremely smooth. It's gotten a bit rough recently, but the racing is perfect because if your train is slightly heavier, it'll affect the race. So you really are just trying every little thing to win, and they tell you who wins, and that is absolutely perfect. And yes, it is the best coaster at Hershey Park. Skyrush fans, you can suck it. All right, another underrated coaster. I think you're seeing a theme here. Superman Ride of Steel at Six Flags America and Six Flags Darien Lake. Pictured Six Flags America because that's what came up. It is, again, super, super, super underrated. I rode this not too long ago in the back seat at Darien Lake, and I got to tell you, that first drop is fantastic. That first turn is fantastic. The helixes are a little big, but it's just fun going around in a circle and then shooting over that lake. Again, the airtime is it's really great, and it was groundbreaking for Intamin. Without this coaster, we might not have Millennium Force, Intimidator 305, or I don't know, Hyperion, whatever people are talking about now with Intamin. This was a really groundbreaking ride, and I love it. Next, my first ever RMC, Wicked Cyclone. Now, it's not higher because I've ridden other coasters, and while it's fun, like really fun, there's just other coasters out there. And yeah, it's there and it's great, and I recommend it if you go out there. Obviously, you all know that I'm not the first coaster channel to ever recommend this, but I absolutely love the coaster, but not as much as the next one, which is Superman the Ride. To do this, I have to get a little personal here because I used to play a lot of Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, and I would do a thing with the Giga Coaster where I would have an out and back layout to start. Then, as you went back to the station, it'll then switch right to a Twister layout. And then I found out that Six Flags New England has a coaster that's similar to the Giga Coaster in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 that has the same kind of layout. Superman the Ride. I got to ride this, luckily on a very dead day, and it was amazing. Riding it in the back was amazing. I grayed out on that turnaround. I had great airtime, and the layout is just perfect. It's also just the best coaster at Six Flags New England. And according to the Golden Ticket Awards, one of the best coasters of all time, which I will agree with, but not fully. Like, I don't think it's the best in the world. It is still an early intimate hypercoaster. It doesn't have great transitions. It doesn't have great track profiling. Like, you could see the drop there. It's not smooth. It goes straight. Next, I'm gonna get crucified very hard. I'm gonna get so much hate. Fury 325. Why is it at number 7? Well, it's simple. It's got some dead spots. I wrote this thing for the first time in 2017, and I wrote it actually last weekend at the time of recording this during their winter operating season. Now, I will preface, it was cold out, but I didn't actually feel like it was any different from when I wrote it back in 2017. It has a great drop. It has great elements. It has great airtime, as I wrote there conveniently. But there's a point. You can even see it here in the picture. After that turn, it levels off, and you go up into a nice airtime hill, and then you have this massive helix that's not forceful. The only thing going for it is a head chopper. That's it. Which, I mean, come on. You just why? And also the rattle. It's obnoxious. I feel like this isn't like this is me saying why it's 7. It's saying why it's not higher, because it's just not as special as I thought it was. Moving on to the better Giga, Orion. Again, gonna get hate for this. I say it's stronger. It's not as long. It's not as big, but they pack just a lot more into Orion. The drop is better because I've noticed that the profile of the drop, there's a flat spot with a nice kink as you go into the more steeper part. When you're in the back, you shoot up out of your seat on that, and it's just amazing. That wave turn, pretty nice. That turnaround, also pretty nice. And then you get to the best moment on a B&M, and that is that speed hill. That speed hill is like 2 or 3 seconds of just sustained airtime. and it's amazing. You're just floating there out of your seat. It's a perfect zero G, less than zero G, weightless feeling. It's just amazing, and I love it more than Fury. And it's at Kings Island, which is just like the best park in the Cedar Fair, best park I've ever been to. It's just so much better. Next is Maverick at Cedar Point. Remember how I was saying about Gemini, how it has a great fast lane line? Well, this has the best fast lane line because it actually goes up to the station. So does Gemini and also Corkscrew and Valraven. But every other ride, you have to rejoin the line at a certain point, and I don't like that because, again, as a fast lane user, I don't want to have to wait in the normal line. I'd much rather, if the fast lane line is empty, I get to go right up to the station, which Maverick lets me do. I've been able to marathon this ride on pretty busy days. That line had an hour and a half wait, and I was running up the stairs. That is what matters most to me. Apart from that, the ride is fantastic. The setting is beautiful. Look at that lake. Look at that lake. I mean, come on. It is an extremely powerful ride. It whips you right and left. It is just perfect, and I love the launches. Next is the Beast. I am a Beast fanboy. I love the Beast. The Beast is amazing. It has, as I've written here, an amazing night ride, an amazing setting. You're just ripping right through the forest. It has an amazing second half. That helix, that big bowl, it's amazing. It's the best coaster at Kings Island. It's the best traditional wooden roller coaster I've ever ridden. I'll get to that in a bit. Next, Twisted Timbers at Kings Dominion. There was actually a time for about 5 minutes when I placed this higher than Steel Vengeance. Spoiler alert. Um, because this ride is unrelenting. From the moment you drop, it does not quit. Not once. It is an airtime buffet, as that guy that we don't really like from uh, Theme Park Review said. It's an airtime buffet, just one after the other, after the other, after the other. My thighs hurt coming off of this ride because of just how unrelenting it is. And for a time, I did place it higher than Steel Vengeance, but after riding Steel Vengeance again, I decided to place it at number two. This ride is really the complete package. You get that extreme airtime as Twisted Timbers, but you also get great hypercoaster elements. You get just the big hills of a hypercoaster, then the small little bits of a powerful blitz coaster. It really is just amazing. Also, no one really talks about this because Cedar Point isn't usually open long enough, but I got to experience this during Coaster Campout. Night rides are amazing. Because you see, there's big spotlights that shine up through the structure. But when you're in the structure, you don't really get that. So it's pitch black in there, and it's awesome. I've gotten discombobulated and turned around inside there. You're trying to figure out where the track is going. I've gotten it wrong, and it felt amazing. Back didn't think so, but I liked it. And of course, number one is Intimidator 305. I got the pleasure to ride this earlier in 2022 at my first ever visit to Kings Dominion, and it's just so much fun. I actually got a Zen ride in the front row first thing in the morning on this, and it was just absolutely incredible. I'm someone who does not like laterals. I like the laterals on Intimidator 305. I like being whipped from one side to the other. It is just absolutely amazing. I love crushing turns. I love airtime, but I also love crushing turns. I also love NASCAR, so I appreciate that this is honoring a legend in the NASCAR space. I like that it looks like his car. That's just fun. It's just awesome. And as I put it here, it has balls. The balls of this coaster, because they wouldn't make this coaster again. Not after what happened. People were blacking out. People were graying out a lot. People were getting uncomfortable. And that's what we're missing, especially with B&Ms. The reason why B&Ms are so much further down is because they played it safe. Intamin just went, no, screw that. I'm going to go and kill people now. And I like that. But I have one other coaster. And this was a number one for a bit. It was actually my first number one. But after riding some coasters and not riding it, after a bit, it fell down. But recently I decided to make a number zero, El Toro. El Toro, Six Flags Great Adventure. Forgot to put it there. Forgive me. It really was what made me a coaster enthusiast. Back in November of 2016, I went here and it was cold out. Not too bad. Like coasters were running. There was no one in the park. I got to ride this coaster 24 times in one day, 14 of which were in a row. Because they really did just tell you you could stay on if you want. And I went, yes, I do want that. So I stayed on. It was so much fun. It was one of the best experiences I ever had on a roller coaster. It's what made me love the backseat. It's what made me be more choosy with where I sit because I chose that second to last row because it was on a non-wheel seat. I experimented as I was there, and I found that the wheel seats were rough, so I stayed in the non-wheel seat. It was incredible. It has literally the best drop I've ever had on a roller coaster, bar none. It is amazing. It is just fantastic. It's why I'm a coaster enthusiast. It's why I love airtime. It's why I love the back. It's just why this, why this, why this. It's all because of this ride. I haven't ridden it in, it'll be 5 years this year because I haven't had a Six Flags Seasons Pass. I'm stuck with Cedar Fair, but I just absolutely love this ride and I need to get on it if it reopens because if it doesn't reopen, I'm going to be very sad. So, yes, that is my top 15 plus a number zero. I really hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about my thoughts. I've been wanting to make a video like this for a while. And I'm just glad I was able to put it into a video now that I have a webcam. And I'm just trying to use that Microsoft Clipchamp here. Please excuse the plainness of the slides. I just whipped something together with Google Slides. Yeah, if you did like the video, please like it. I don't expect you to. If you dislike it, great. I'll see it. You probably won't, but I will. You can subscribe if you want. Not really forcing you to. But yeah, have a nice day.